Hey there, and hopefully a wonderful Friday to you as we close out the week. Temperatures are about 10 to 15 degrees warmer in a lot of spots across the Midwest and the Ohio Valley than where we were 24 hours ago. We'll start seeing that warming trend push further off towards the east as well. Temperatures vary from the middle 40s from like Chicago to Cleveland and Pittsburgh, but you're still in the lower to middle 30s into Northeast PA, Jersey, upstate New York at this time. That will spread east. Precipitation ranking. So this winter, if you total up all the rain and snow and you rank it from the least to the most, number one would be the most. If you go back to when records were kept in the late 1800s, that translates to 134 years of data. So look at all these 125s to 135s. That is the least precipitation on record for winter across a decent section there, or at least very close to it. So while we've had cold, while we've had snow, there hasn't been much in the way of those big precipitation type events, lots of rain, that kind of thing, across a pretty big area, even into the Northeast. A lot of spots below average, significantly below average. So yeah, definitely notable for sure. So what's the overall pattern been? Here is the Pacific Ocean. This is the United States here. So we've seen this regime, if you average out the upper air pattern for all of winter, where it comes out of Japan over the Pacific, hits this ridge, rides up into Canada, and this has been the clipper train into portions of the upper Midwest, Great Lakes, Northeast. And with that type of pattern, it's been pretty active. We push down the cold air at times. We push the smaller systems, the snowier systems that have less water content, but we have not, for a significant amount of time, pushed that moisture through all of the United States into the middle of the plains, into the Tennessee Valley, into the southeast, because we've generally had this ridge here that's kind of prevented the flow. We've broken that pattern a few times, but that's it, all winter long. Now, we're going to see a big change to this pattern as we go forward. This is the upper air pattern going on into the weekend. Okay, still looks pretty much identical to what we just talked about, but let's shift that here significantly. We're going to turn things up and down. We're going to start ejecting in these troughs across portions of the southwest, just like in that, and watch it hit off towards the east. Big trough, bang, winds. Another one back behind it. I mean, we're talking that's a significant trough. Look at the ridge across the east. That really pushes in a lot of warm air, but it also takes the wind direction out of the Gulf. So you're going to push in moisture, you're going to push in warm air, and this is going to be a big pattern change as we start pushing multiple different troughs across the country at this point over the course of the next 2 weeks. This is going to allow for severe weather season to really heat up across maybe portions of the plains into the deep south, Dixie Alley, but it's also going to push in a lot of moisture into areas in the Mississippi River Valley, the Ohio River Valley, the Tennessee River Valley, and some of that into the Northeast New England. We'll have to keep an eye on that. Current radar and fronts and satellite right now throughout the morning hours. Not really a ton of cloud cover. You got a little bit of a weak system into the Quebec-Vermont border, but overall pretty quiet for the most part with high pressure in control. We'll see things start to change as we go on in towards the evening hours, and tonight with a little bit of a weak rain system that's going to push across the Great Lakes into the northeast. It's not going to do much of anything. That moves on through, and then it's going to set the stage for our next actual system that we do watch late Saturday into early Sunday, and this is going to be the start of another very active pattern through not only next week but probably beyond. So snow through Michigan. It'll be kind of a mix into your early Sunday morning across portions of northern Ohio, northern Pennsylvania. Probably minor snow impacts will be around, but certainly once you get into southwest New York, Syracuse, and then eventually further east into Albany, you're going to see more of just a true snow system. And it'll be moderate at times. I mean, you're not talking about major accumulation, but some spots could definitely end up with a couple inches. We'll take a look more in a bit. Nothing further off towards the south there. That moves across New England. A little bit of minor lake effect on the backside into your Sunday, and then winding on down before the next system. So this is kind of that track of the snowfall as we go throughout portions of the next few days. You could certainly see plenty into Michigan, not a ton into Chicago, but a little bit. Watch for a little bit of accumulation far northern Ohio. Certainly plenty of accumulation Erie, Buffalo, Rochester, in towards Utica, then Albany up north of there, but nothing to the south. So we'll take a look a little bit more in detail as we pick this up on Monday, show you that system into Tuesday that was picking up on. So this is going to be the system that's going to bring accumulating snow to Chicago, Detroit, probably Cleveland before the mix. It's going to be on the border, something to watch. Pittsburgh could be a little bit of mixed snow, but probably mainly on the rain side of things. And then watch for that eastern portion with some overrunning to be some accumulating snow briefly into southern Jersey, into Washington, D.C., but then it's going to be quickly changing to rain while it stays snow, Syracuse, Albany, and north. And then right behind that on Tuesday is going to be just a huge rain system. I mean, we're talking plentiful amounts of rainfall from the I-70 corridor down in towards St. Louis, D.C. That moves north. Maybe there'll be a little bit of mixing midweek, but for the most part, that's going to be a lot of rain and a big push of warm air. So those showers are going to just linger, multiple rounds of it, and then eventually pushes off towards the east and kind of diffuses itself a little bit before another system forms out across the middle portion of the country. Again, very, very active. So in terms of total rainfall over the next several days, here we go. It'll add up in chunks. You'll see this is just through this next week. You'll see spots of 2 to 4 inches, but a widespread area of a ½ inch to, let's say, 1.5 inches with this. Yeah, definitely. And this is the area in the next 2 weeks that could see over 4 inches with pretty good confidence across portions of southern Ohio, West Virginia, back into southern Indiana, and then especially Illinois, back into Missouri, back into Arkansas. That's going to be a very wet period. There's even a chance of 6 or 8 inches. Not a huge chance, but that is there over the next couple weeks. That's months worth of rain. So definitely very significant. And this is going to show that well above average pattern from pretty much Denver to Minnesota and in towards Pennsylvania, New York, dropping south. But that main corridor looks to be kind of that Michigan, Ohio, down into Mississippi, Alabama, Texas corridor. So yeah, definitely something to keep a close eye on. And this is going to be with a much warmer pattern. We carve out that cold air out of the Northeast eventually, but it's going to be way warm. St. Louis, Chicago, Twin Cities, Detroit, Flint, much of the West is going to stay warm, but this is just going to be the big change to a lot more in the way of spring air. I mean, I think it's probably well deserved, right? I mean, a lot of us have kind of been looking forward to this stretch. Doesn't mean wintry weather is totally done. We still got late March. We still got some time in April that those chances will be there. But any kind of sustained cold, snowy pattern, done. Canceled. These temperatures are going to be impressive over the next couple weeks at times. I mean, we're talking 50s, 60s, 70s at times. Definitely the chance is there. So enjoy. Thanks for watching. Have a great weekend.